What's the story, Wolfpack? Thank you very much for joining me. In this video we're going to be taking a look at two degenerate drone operators, one in the UK and one here in Ireland. We're off to the UK first, where an amateur drone pilot has been sentenced in what police have said was the first conviction of its kind in the UK. Christopher McEwen, aged 46, of Norwich, appeared at Norwich Magistrates Court on Friday the 13th of February 2026, having pled guilty to 17 offences at an earlier hearing. These offences include flying a drone close to where an emergency response effort is ongoing, taking a photograph inside a prison, flying in a restricted zone, failing to keep unmanned flight in sight, and failing to comply with maximum operating heights. He was sentenced to pay a £2,000 fine, an £800 victim surcharge and £110 in costs. He was also ordered to forfeit his drone for destruction. The sentence follows a series of incidents over a 6-month period between January and June of 2025 when McEwen repeatedly breached various laws governing the safe use of drones. During this period, 44 flights were logged on his drone, which was a DJI Mavic 3 Pro. On the evening of the 20th of January 2025, there was a large industrial fire on Dibden Road, Norwich, at a disused factory. Police, fire and ambulance were all in attendance, with multiple resources working for a number of hours. During this time, McEwen chose to fly his drone 3 times directly over the fire and in close proximity to the scene. Permission is required to fly over an emergency response due to the dangers it can pose to those working underneath. McEwen failed to do this. An existing drone presence also prevents emergency services from using their own drones in the area to assess and respond to an ongoing situation, inhibiting their ability to do their jobs. McEwen's home address is within a flight restriction zone due to its close proximity to Norwich Airport, which is where he regularly flew his drone. It is an offence to fly within a flight restriction zone without permission from air traffic control at the airport due to the dangers you can pose to other aircraft in the area. 33 of the 44 flights logged by McEwen's drone were within these zones. The maximum allowed height is 120 metres or 400 feet away from the closest point of the Earth's surface. A warning of this height restriction is shown by the drone that McEwen had been flying, yet he chose to entirely disregard this in 39 of the 44 flights. On the 2nd of May 2025, McEwen flew his drone to around 1,900 feet. He came within 350 metres of a light aircraft travelling over the south of Norwich, and the pilot of the plane had no knowledge of the drone's presence. This could have had catastrophic consequences had he collided with the aircraft. When flying a drone, you must always keep the drone within direct eyesight to ensure you can safely monitor its flight. McEwen admitted that he could only maintain proper sight of his drone to around 400 metres. 36 of the 44 flights reviewed for this case were flown to such distances that a visual line of sight would have been physically impossible to keep. During one of these flights, he flew 2,378 metres away from the takeoff point. Throughout all of these flights, McEwen was required by law, due to the weight and capability of his drone, to be registered with the CAA as an operator. He had previously been registered, but this had expired during the time of the offending. He should have also completed a flying competency test for each drone category that he flew in. This would have been 2 categories, which he failed to do. Both are offences under the Air Navigation Order 2016, and therefore all of his flights were then unlawful. A further offence was recorded outside of the 6-month period following a flight on the 26th of June 2024. During this flight, McEwen flew over the prison HMP Norwich on Knox Road. He did not have permission to do this. During this flight, he took 2 images of prisoners outside in an exercise yard. This is a breach of Section 40D of the Prison Act 1952. The flight was also within a flight restriction zone and exceeding the altitude limit. Investigating Officer PC John Parker from Norfolk's Police Community Safety Operational Unit said that McEwen's offending showed a blatant disregard for the rules and regulations imposed on those who want to fly a drone. These guidelines are in place to protect everyone's safety, and they must be respected. We appreciate many people will feel that these are minor offences, however they can have devastating consequences. Richard Pace, Managing Director of Norwich Airport, added, "While most drone operators act responsibly, this case is a timely reminder of the legal requirements for flying drones near airports." Norwich Airport's flight restriction zone extends 2.5 nautical miles from the airport and further from each end of the runway. Anyone wishing to fly a drone within these areas must obtain permission from air traffic control at the airport in advance. Full details of this are available on the airport website. These restrictions are in place to protect aircraft and the people on board, as well as those on the ground. Alan Ward, East Anglian Air Ambulance Aviation Advisor, says East Anglian Air Ambulance provides critical care 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by road and air across our region. The charity provides treatment and care to around 2,000 people per year. Drones are becoming increasingly commonplace for leisure purposes and in the workplace. While they offer incredible opportunities, we urge all drone operators to follow regulations and to stay alert to the risks in order not to endanger lives. A collision between a drone and an air ambulance or any aircraft could be catastrophic. Beyond this, a drone could cause a delay to critical care operations by prohibiting safe landings and takeoffs. This verdict is a reminder of the risks and the legal responsibilities of drone operators. Moving over to Ireland for our next one, we have a drone pilot who publicly apologised for multiple breaches of drone legislation in 3 different locations around the country. In January 2026, the Brazilian-born man was directed to pay €250 to a nominated charity by Dublin District Court Judge Michael Ramsey. He pled guilty to 3 offences: being out of visual line of sight with a drone at Poolbeg in Dublin, operating without the correct authorisation in Smithfield Central Dublin, and operating above the legal ceiling of 120 metres in County Donegal. The offences took place in 2024 and 2025. The man offered in court to make public his mistakes in order to help deter others from breaching the law in relation to the flying of drones. He posted his apology to his various social media accounts and acknowledged that on several occasions he operated his drones in a manner that did not fully comply with applicable flight limitations and airspace requirements. He said, "I recognise that greater care and adherence to established procedures are important to ensure the safety of people on the ground and other airspace users. My videos could have convinced others that this type of flying was either explicitly allowed or implicitly ignored as a violation of safety by the Irish Aviation Authority." He also admitted to flying in more remote areas at an altitude and distance that could have posed a risk to other airspace users who could not have seen him, which is an integral component of operating within visual line of sight. "I am taking this moment as a learning opportunity, as a way to reach out to my community of creators to encourage others to fly safely and within the requirements of the regulations." The Irish Aviation Authority said that the man was known to them as somebody who had a big following for his drone footage on social media. The Irish Aviation Authority's investigator David Hansel added, "As Ireland's civil aviation regulator, public safety is our highest priority. Operating a drone in an unauthorised airspace poses a public safety risk. Drone pilots must always ensure that they are aware of airspace restrictions and comply with aviation safety regulations before flying." That said, rather than solely focusing on sanctions, the IAA applied a balanced approach to prioritise learning, accountability and the prevention of future occurrences. This approach is part of the IAA's Just Culture ethos, which ensures that organisations and individuals can engage proactively with the IAA to address safety issues while maintaining trust and collaboration across the aviation community. The drone operator who was prosecuted here in Ireland, as you heard there, offered to make public his mistakes so that others could learn from them. And he did this on his various social media accounts. But not only that, the Irish Aviation Authority on their own social media accounts and on their website also linked his social media accounts. My issue with this is the fact that the man has been prosecuted for breaking the law, and yes, it should be made public to obviously name and shame these people, but at the same time I don't think the Irish Aviation Authority or anyone else should be shouting out this man's social media accounts to give him more publicity, which is one of the main reasons why I didn't name him. And those sentiments were echoed in the comments on some of the posts the Irish Aviation Authority posted on social media in regards to this matter. One person commented saying that it sends out the wrong message. It says that you can break the law and then you'll have your social media account shouted out by the Irish Aviation Authority to all their followers. Another person commented saying that even though he had to pay a €250 fine and forfeit his drone, that the exposure he got from this incident on social media may actually benefit him more in the long run. Now, I don't know if it did have any effect on his social media status, whether he did gain more followers or more traction. I personally had never heard of the man until this incident. Personally, I just feel that giving him more publicity from breaking the law was the wrong thing to do. What effect, if any, his apology and statement will have remains to be seen. I feel that if people don't want to follow the regulations and they want to flout the law, that they're going to do it regardless of what some other creator says. As a drone owner and enthusiast, I myself understand the importance of having regulations in place to keep people safe. It annoys me when I see cases like these of people blatantly flouting the drone regulations. The more people breach the regulations that are already in place, it just means the authorities are going to want to tighten up on those regulations, and that's going to affect people who are already trying to do the right thing and abiding by those regulations. A fine example of the few ruining it for the many. As for a guy in the UK, well, there's really not a lot you can say about him. That was absolute stupidity and very poor decision making. And hopefully because they made an example out of that guy, it gives other people who are thinking of breaching the regulations to maybe have a bit of pause for thought and think twice about what they're going to do before they go flying their drones. Well, that's just about all we have time for this video. I do thank you very much for joining me. If you did enjoy the video, please go down below and drop us a like, as it does really help the channel out. And if you get the option, please do hype the video as well. Links to everything important can be found down below in the description, including ways you can help support the channel. I'd like to give a massive shout out to the crew of legends who are my channel members. As always guys, thank you very much for your continued support and encouragement. It is very much thoroughly appreciated. I'd also like to give a massive shout out to everyone watching this with me on the premiere. Thank you very much for joining me guys. As always, I'll be back soon with another video. I do hope you'll join me then, but until then, why not check out one of the videos that should be appearing on screen now. Until next time guys, stay safe, take care, peace.